Kings 18. From verse 29. And it came to pass, when midday was past, they prophesied unto the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that there was neither voice nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. And Elijah said unto all the people, Come near unto me. And all the people came near unto him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord that was broken down. And Elijah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribe of the sons of Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord. And he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. These are going to be the verse or verses of our consideration this hour. And we're going to deal with this topic, rebuilding the broken altar of prayer cell. Rebuilding the broken altar of prayer cell. Without being told, the altar of prayer cell in Kingdom Power has been broken down. That wonderful altar that the Lord God of Kingdom Power gave to us, to establish it in every home, so that he will take over and once again be in charge of our homes. As we are to rebuild this broken altar of prayer cells, we're going to come in a full force. As we go on, you're going to understand the reason of what I am going to say. Every home, if you are actually of Kingdom Power, must make your home available for prayer cell. Every home. From now, we're going to gain the reasons for the clear vision of this prayer cell that God had given unto his church. The home had actually been a battleground. And that as a result of man losing that battle in his home, devil and his agents took over the home, and as a result of that, entire humanity. If this battle must be won as God has intended it to be, you see the way we are going. Those of you following this journey, you see how we are winning this battle. That sometimes it surprises these enemies of righteousness, because they never believed the man will confront them in this manner and recover all these things we are getting back from them. They never think of it, not to talk of believing on it. The woe that befell humanity started from losing the battle in the home. Adam and Eve lost battle in their home. And the enemy seized that and took charge of homes and eventually entire humanity. That's why God gave us this vision, establishing prayer cell in homes. The Lord decided that with this altar of prayer cell, He will overthrow demons and devils from our homes, so that He will make our homes a place where Himself will be the Governor General, a place where the fire of prayer will burn continuously, a place where prayer will be offered as a sacrifice unto God. God decided to make our homes a place where prayer will be answered on daily basis, a place where testimony that was lost will be given back to humanity. The Lord, not only that He established kingdom power to be used as a direct confrontation to demons and devils, but He also give us this prayer cell to make sure that no place, no room is left for the devil, for the demons, and the dark world to have access to, so long as we and eventually humanity is concerned. God established kingdom power to be used to tear down, to root out, to destroy, and to throw down all the works and the activities that devil and his demons had put in place on this earth since the days when they were overthrown from heaven to this earth. And as he decided to do that, He gave us this vision of prayer cell to be established in every home, not compound, every home. You get to a compound that have 10 homes, prayer cell must be established in those 10 homes. He wants to carry our homes along as we go on tearing down the powers of wickedness, retrieving and recovering everything that belongs to humanity. When we obey this instruction and establish the altar of prayer warriors in our prayer cells in our homes, it will enable God to tear down the activities of witchcraft that has messed up homes and destroy lives in such a home or homes. If we will allow God to have His way in our homes, witchcraft activities will be pulled down and eventually they will become a thing of the past. The Lord decided to use prayer cell to restore back the lost glory of homes and that of families. The Lord decided to use prayer cell to restore back to the homes and families that lost fellowship with Him that existed in the first home on this earth, which devil, out of jealousy and envy, destroyed and stole away. The Lord gave kingdom power prayer cell to be used to re-establish Himself in every home. Wherever our God established Himself, you understand, demons, devils will not be there. If we will allow God to do what He wishes to do by making our homes available, God will become the invisible head of each of our homes. And as a result of that, the enemies will not have access to our homes. The Lord decided to change and be directly involved in the day-to-day running of the affairs of our homes and families, as He intended it to be when He established the first home on earth. And this He wants to do through the introduction of prayer cell, bringing the altar back to our homes. You saw what the enemy says when the altars was returned back. Every home that God creates, there are supposed to be an altar in each home. The Lord does not want the fire of His glory to be out of any home. The fire of His honor, the fire of His presence, the fire of His progress, the fire of His success, the fire of His prosperity to go down in our homes. That's why the introduction of prayer cell. At the same time, He does not want the fire of His healing, deliverance, and power to go down in our homes. That's why He came down with the idea of prayer cell to be established in every home. Any home where the fire burns on daily basis will become a big problem to witches and wizards. It will become a great problem to occultic men and women who in most cases do not want the joy and the good things of homes and families to become their own. Most foundations of the buildings where our homes is located are polluted and corrupted with wickedness and occultism that makes most homes to labor like elephants but end up eating like ants. That's why the Lord decided to give those demonic possessed foundation direct war, confrontation through the establishment of prayer cells in our home, so that He will pull down those foundations that has made lives unbearable in our homes and cause the wall of those occultic foundations to be thrown down and be destroyed, if we will allow Him. Man is a free moral agent that has been affecting us so negatively that if it is possible to scrap that off our lives would have been better than it is today. Jeremiah chapter 50. I read verse 15. Shout against her round about. That's what is obtained in a place where there is prayer cell. Sometimes we ask you to give Him a shout during our worship, after our worship, before our worship, in kingdom power. They will say, shout against her roundabout. She had given her hand. Her foundations are fallen as a result of the shout. Her walls are thrown down as a result of the shout. For it is the vengeance of the Lord. The shout will provoke vengeance. Take vengeance upon her. As she had done, do unto her. A lot of homes is located in buildings with wicked foundations. And God knows that. You did not carry home down to Lagos from your village. You came down. You don't even know who your landlord is. Sometimes we live in a place for years without seeing the person. Sometimes through telephone or through an agent. But what is in that foundation that carry the building where you live? What is in that land where that building is located? Where your home is situated? Home is not the cement and the iron and the roofing sheet and everything. No, those are building. You carry home into the building. Now, you carry your home to that occultic home, and you discover, like it happened to many people, sometimes it happened to many people, you enter some compound full. You leave empty. You live empty. Sometimes. Empty of properties. Sometimes empty of the loved ones. Like Ruth, Naomi that went to Moab. Why do God allow such a story to be there? To tell us there are land you live, it empty you. There are compound you live, it will empty you. To take blessings away from you, make you a nobody. How can God take vengeance upon her? He's talking against those foundations. And the personality, the people, the landlord, the landlady that established those foundations. But if we refuse to make our homes, prayer cells, prayer centers, how do God intervene? To carry an altar of God. Say, God, take over. The Lord wants to pour out his anger on those wicked landlords and landladies that transact on people's destiny, either in your homes or in the place where you do your business. I've told us a story here some time ago. A young man that lives in a compound, and everybody in that compound, it doesn't matter how rich you are, before you pack into that compound, you will be made empty. And one young man became uncomfortable and turned his room to prayer center. Began to cry and began to agonize. Lord, what is all this? Why all this? And he kept crying and kept crying and kept weeping. One night, while he was weeping at the odd hour of the night, while he was praying, the Lord showed forth and said, young man, stand up. Open your door. Move outside to the backyard. Turn to this particular corner. Open that place. Enter. Open this particular thing. And the young man was shocked to discover that a passport photograph of all the tenants were kept there. The Lord told him, take it, your picture out. There was a time I told you, you want to live in a compound? They ask you bring your passport photograph, tell them no. Whatever you want to see, look at my face and see it. What are you doing with my picture? I am discussing with you. You want my passport photograph? Look at my face. And as soon as he took his picture, he ran to the compound and make a heavy noise and woke other tenants in the compound and told them, come and see. And they invaded that coven. And everybody picked this thing. The landlord appeared and started crying, calling the name of the young boy. You want to kill me? You want to kill me? How about the one that wrote the names of all the tenants in the compound on the belly of tortoise and put the tortoise inside a tank where only him sells water in that compound? That's where people buy the water from. He's in charge. One day, the Lord decided to expose him. He traveled out, and the compound decided, this well is dirty. Why don't we watch this well, this tank? And they sent somebody there. As soon as he entered, he shouted, tortoise, tortoise. He pulled it out. All the members of that, all the tenants there, their names were written on the belly of the tortoise. There's some compound you live. It becomes a law. You must buy from the landlady in the compound. No. There are some law you violate. That I am in your compound does not make me a slave. No. And such compound, if you do that, is going to be a problem. If you don't understand, those are the kind places we need to carry prayer service to. Because the Lord said, as she had done unto you, do unto her double. This is God's business if we only will allow him in our homes through establishment of prayer cells. Buildings where our homes are located and our business had been a conduit, most of us, pipe through which the enemy has sucked us dry. Therefore, in order to give them direct confrontations, we need to carry the altar of prayer cells to those homes and those places where we do our businesses to end those drama. When you want to confront power, give power power. Because when perfect appear, imperfect will give way. Revelation chapter 18, read from verse 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven. That's what is taking place now. That makes God to decide on this vision of prayer cell. And God has remembered her iniquities. Reward her, even as she rewarded you. Double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which he had filled, fill to her double. How much she had glorified herself and lived daily justly. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen. I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, and famine. And she shall be opened with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. God wants to do strange things in the land only if we will allow him. By taking prayer set to our homes and that of our business places, the Lord wants to reward them even as they rewarded you, if you will allow him to take prayer cell to your home. Then he will return their wickedness back unto them. He will use their wickedness to make a plaster on their face. That joy they took away from you, the Lord decide to return it back if you will permit him. That progress, that success, that prosperity, and everything that they took away from you, the Lord, not only that he will return it back unto you, he will empty them for your sake, because he will give you double of all that they took away from you. The Lord wants to end the domain of occultism and witchcraft in homes through prayer cell. If people will allow God by taking prayer cell to your homes. Most times, people hear message, they will think otherwise. If you allow this altar in your home, the Lord will make those enemies in your home, whether they are the landlords, whether they are the landladies, whether it is the power in the land where the building is located, or your fellow co-tenants in the compound, to stop sucking you dry. Many of the landlords are living on people's destiny. They harvest the destiny of the people through occultic means. Therefore, the Lord have decided to give them much torment and sorrow if you will allow him. The seat of wickedness, the seat in that compound where you live, that make them to act and speak arrogantly, will be taken away from them. If we will bring the Lord into our homes through the altar or prayer cells in our homes, then wonders will show forth. Confessions will show forth. People unconsciously will begin to confess of their wickedness. If we will allow God. As soon as these prayer cells is established in our homes, then one day their plagues will be made manifest. Death, mourning, famine. Not only that, fire from the altar of prayer cell will burn them until they are turned into ashes. If we allow prayers in our homes, in our offices, in our shops, we reveal the strength of the God we serve in kingdom power in those places where those altars will be taken to. Verse 8 of Revelation chapter 18. Verse 8 of Revelation chapter 18. Therefore shall they have plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. Wickedness has been sustained because homes are not what God had in mind when he established homes. Your home should be your first church. Therefore, take prayer cell there. Your home should be a place of fellowship between you, members of your family, and your neighbors. Therefore, take prayer cell there. Your home must be a place where you build your first altar to consult and communicate with God. Therefore, take prayer cell there. Your home must be a place where you see God face to face, like it happened at the Garden of Eden in the first home. Therefore, take prayer cell there. Your home must be a place where no witches or wizard will succeed in any of their activities because of the presence of God in that your home. Therefore, take prayer cell there. Your home must not be a place where occultic people who are seeking for people of family whom they will use as ladder to climb to the height of greatness. Therefore, take prayer cell there. If you must win the battles of destiny that rage, that do not have respect to any man, to any woman, then take prayer cell altar to your home. That even if you are not around and they show forth, when it is only your children after school or before school or during the weekend, they will come in contact with the altar there. If you will protect your children so that none will tamper with their destiny and that of their glory which we wish the Lord endow them with, then hide them in that prayer cell altar located in your home. Altar is very important. The Christians of this generation do not understand the importance of altar. But as we are on this warfare, that the heaven has enabled us to keep winning, there are a lot of things that the answer come to you while the battle is going on. Altar, highly important. Altar, highly important. You saw the king in 1 King chapter 13, standing on his altar to conjure, to project, to determine what happens in the land. That when he speaks, everybody in the land will obey. You saw him on top of that altar when the young prophet that God sent to fight that altar came his way. If not for God's intervention, it's very usually difficult to win battles against altars. Most homes you live have occultic altars in those homes. Those most business centers you go to. Have you not heard some people that will tell you a wife all of a sudden broke into a particular room that the husband said, "Do not enter"? That's the altar of that man. You find that in the place of business. You find that in most offices. You find that in the CEO offices, in major businesses of the earth, on this world. Altars, they consort. Altars, they consort to do the wickedness. That's why the altar, prayer cell we're talking about is important if you must win. 1 King chapter 18, from verse 29, once again. And it came to pass when midday was past, and they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that there was neither voice nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. This is another altar here. We're not talking about this, their own altar today. One of these days, we're going to center on a message that will describe the strength, the strength of negative altar that confront believers in life. This is the altar here. They have been on this altar from morning till evening. Believers do not have time to dwell with their altar. They are always in a hurry. You begin to ask questions. Why do unbelievers win believers in the battles of destiny? Because they have time to spend on their own altar from morning until evening. Sometimes they will tell you they are going on vacation. They don't go for sightseeing. They just use that language to obtain permission and to close the eyes of people looking toward their direction. They obtain that permission because they need to consult on their altar. Many years ago, a particular man from another religion came to this research. And when that man spoke, a particular man came and he had, how do I put it, direct communication with a man in another religion. When this man began to tell us something, I look at Christians, how sometimes they will visit their altar 21 days on a stretch. When they sit there, they will fold their legs. Sometimes they will sit motionless. After hearing that, so I say, no wonder they kept winning so-called Christians in the spiritual arena. And when they want to visit this altar, you tell their wives, I'll go to visit the altar. They will not see face to face for 21 days. And he will tell the wife, particular time, the woman, in a day, the woman will come with a plate of white rice. No stew. Nothing. At that particular time, the woman will come and drop it by the door and leave. The man will open it. By that time, the wife must have left. Put the plate, eat it, return back the plate. The woman knew when to come and carry it without seeing the man. 21 days. And after this kind consultation, sometimes believers challenge them. And when they want to challenge them, do you know what they're going to say? Where is the God of Elijah? You want to call the fire you build or the fire another man build? Is it possible? Look at their altar here. Well, let's leave that for now. Let's leave that for now. And Elijah said unto all the people, come near unto me. And all the people came near unto him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord that was broken down. Such a prophet understand the importance and the power of altar. And some of us that have no name or title in the realm of the spirit neglect altar. And Elijah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribe of the sons of Jacob, unto whom the word of the Lord came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. And with the stones, he built an altar in the name of the Lord. And he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order and cut the bullock in pieces and laid him on the wood and said, fill 4 barrels with water and pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. And he said, do it the second time. And they did it the second time. And he said, do it the third time. And they did it the third time. And the water ran round about the altar. And he filled the trench also with water. And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, let it be known this day that thou art God in Israel, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word. Hear me, O Lord, hear me. Now these people may know thou art the Lord God, and that thou hast turned their hearts back again. Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice and the wood and the stones and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces and said, the Lord, he is God. The Lord, he is God. How many minutes did Elijah did this thing here? But he has access to this fire because he has generated much fire through his constant visitation to his private altar in the home. Without private altar in the home, public demonstration of ministers and preachers and believers is a waste of time. It is the long hour of consultation on your altar that determines their short intervention in the public ministrations. A man that understands the place of a private altar in his life as a believer do not have much time to waste or to spend in the public administration. He comes into the public, make a decree, heaven confirms the decree. When you see a man that spend too much time in tackling one issue, it actually shows he has no altar in the home. We can win the war of fireless society through the establishment of prayer cells in our various homes. Not only that, we can win the war of prayerless society that has enabled witches and wizards, marine spirit possession to become common in our society today. We can also win the war against false prophets and false worship that is now the order of the day through the establishment of prayer cell in our homes. And then we gather our friends and neighbors to be part of it. We can also restore back through worship in the land through prayer cell. Don't you see that the joy of true worship is now lacking in the lips of the people? But Elijah restored that back in his own time. Verse 39. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, the Lord, he is God. The Lord, he is God. The joy of true worship. The entire street